All right, so let's get started. Thanks for showing me her loose. She's beautiful. I love the medicine hat and all her markings. So here you were starting to speed her up, and there's her flat walk. She started to go for a running walk, and then she broke into a hard trot, but that's okay. I just want to see what she can do when she's loose and how she moves. She doesn't have a lot of overreach. She kind of just steps up into that hoof print, and that's perfectly fine. And if she jumps too much into that next speed, then she goes right into the hard trot. But she's got a nice flat walk there. She's got a nice head shake. And then I could have sworn you got her walking faster. I might have to scan through to see. And she naturally just carries that head a little bit low. And we just see that she likes to put a lot of weight on her front end, where her, neck comes out of her body is more like a quarter horse. So we're going to have to try to get her to engage a little bit, and might have to bring her head up as you're gaiting, since she's so much on the trotty side. But that also makes them sure-footed. So there's good and bad about being trotty or pacey, or even being really well gaited. Nice trot though. All right. Okay, so the way you're sitting on her isn't bad. You're a very pretty rider. I love that you're looking up, because so many people look down. What I would do with her, though, since she's on the trotty side, is keep as much weight back as you can on your seat bone. So I would actually lean back a little bit more. Your legs are okay. If she was pacey, I'd have you bring your leg back a little bit. But since she's trotty, it's okay that it's up here right at the girth. The way she carries her head, and many horses are like that, it's a little bit low, which is going to make her a little bit heavier on her front end. So we'll see how she moves, but I expect that as we start to ask her to go faster, we're going to have to lift her head up a little bit, like more chest level, and get her to engage that back end to make her a little bit lighter and the gait better. So with this, as you're going around, downhill is actually going to be your better friend than going uphill, because the uphill makes the horses trottier. So when we're trying to get more speed out of her on the flat, or downhill will be better, and on a road or hard footing is going to help her more. If it's steep, or she's got to pick her feet up because she's getting stuck in the mud, that's going to separate her legs a little bit more and make her go more on the trotty side. So here you're starting to walk her out. She's going more towards that flat walk there. Of course, she's going up towards a trot. What I'd like you to do, I'm going to see if I can pause it as you come by.
So I added some leg and some half halts in there to keep her.
Okay. What I'd like to do is, as you're going around, her head gets pretty low, which is nice because she's relaxed, but it's not helping her gait. The more you get tilted forward, the lower her head goes, and the rounder her back goes is going to make her go more towards a trot. So again, you want to keep your weight back as far as you can. So I'd bring your shoulders back a little bit more if you can. And then what I would do is try to keep her head up a little bit. You can put it on the vertical, but we want her head coming up a little bit. We don't want it way down here, which it looks like it goes through some of the video. So here, even though she's very relaxed, her head is getting way too low. The other thing that keeps happening is she is changing her speeds. Now the terrain affects the horse, and the horse of course will speed up a little bit on its own, but we want to just make sure she's keeping that same tempo, that same speed as you're going around with her. So here, as you're coming around, she's going more the speed of a flat walk there, and then she does start speeding up and going more towards a running walk right there. To keep her in that running walk and not let her get trotty, again, the more you have your weight back, not forward, you want to sit way back. And again, we want to bring her head a little bit higher. Think more like your belly button level, or even a little bit more towards your chest. And I'm talking about the top of her head. And then what you're going to do is you're going around, you want to half halt. Since she doesn't take much leg, I would half halt without using your leg to start and see how that goes. And just half halt, try to do your half halt anytime you think she's going to speed up, you feel she's going to speed up, or you know the terrain makes her speed up. You're trying to catch her before she actually does speed up. Once you half halt, if she slows down too much, then you want to press just lightly with your leg or just a little cluck to get her back in the same speed. Because as she's going around, I keep seeing her changing speed besides getting that head too low. But she does have it. She has the head shake. It's just sometimes she goes past that speed of what her running walk is at this point, and that's when she starts getting trotty. So what you're going to try and do is, as you're keeping the speed as she's going around, keep your body back, keep the weight kind of on your seat pockets, bring her head a little bit higher than it is right now. And I'm sure you have a picture somewhere through here, but right now that head's way too low, and that's just going to make her trottier. So with her, you can do some circles. You just don't want to do a lot of circles, and you don't want to do any pole work because that's just going to make her trottier. So I would try all your suppling exercises if you're doing them, because I know you said you did dressage. If you're doing leg yielding and things of that nature, do that at your plain walk, your trail walk, or your flat walk, and then don't do it as you're going towards your running walk. With your running walk, just go around the whole pasture or up and down that road that you had. And the other thing I would do is, she doesn't know that you don't want to trot. So with her, because she really gets trotty, what I would start to do is to stop her and back her up when she's trotting, and then go right back towards your flat walk or your running walk, whichever one you were doing. But right now she kind of falls into it. It's easier for them to trot and to pace. So if we don't somehow tell them that's the wrong answer, they will keep doing it, especially when they get tired. So again, what I would do to get the message across is when she starts getting up towards that trot, stop her and back her up. And then in your mind, remember what speed that was, and try not to push her all the way up there. You're trying to keep her below the speed where she's trotting. So I probably wouldn't go any faster than this until you get it more consistent. But again, her head is still way too low and you're tilted a little bit forward. So both those things are going to make her go more towards a trot. Now, once we do get your flat walk and your running walk consistent, then we might be able to get her to do a foxtrot since she's trotty, but we don't want to do that yet. We want to get her lower speeds better first before we start trying to push her for more speed, just so she really understands what you're trying, what you want her to do. So I know you said anytime you give her legs, she starts going up into a trot. So other things you could try is using something different, like a small spur on her and just touch her very lightly with it. Or you could just give a little kiss and see if that works, or carry a little stick and wave it. So you could try any of those things instead of using your legs, since it's a little bit different, to see if that will speed her up slightly, but not push her so far into the trot. Otherwise, you got to keep asking her for more. The other thing you can do is use your seat muscles and just kind of push with your seat, tighten your buttocks, and kind of drive her forward with your seat instead of using your leg. So as you're going across here, there were a couple spots she sped up a little bit, and it looked like you almost went towards a foxtrot. So again, I think she'll probably be able to do it, but we just want to get those lower speeds more consistent before we try pushing her up towards a foxtrot. And so we make sure that she's aware of what your cues mean and how fast she's supposed to go. So in the gaited spectrum, when you have a horse like this that's trotty and we're trying to get different gaits, it's usually going to be more a flat walk, a running walk. If they're shaking their head like this, she does have some overreach, just a tiny bit. And then it would either be a foxtrot or a saddle gait. Now right here, you were just telling me that when you turn her and kind of do a shoulder in, that she stays better in gait. That's true. With some of the horses that are trotty, when you turn their head slightly sideways and get a little bend to them, sometimes that will help them to go lateral. Each horse is different, so it's good to play around with things and see which will work for each individual horse. So right here, when you came around this turn and you had her head bent a little to the left, you're going to come in view, she went more lateral right there. So I think it did help. And that's a good speed and a good walk that she had as you came around that turn. Each time you come around this turn, she does pretty good. And you do good from about here to over here. And then as you go downhill, she starts getting more on the trotty side again. So she's trotty there. I'm trying to get the camera to pick it up. And then you get a little bend to her head's a little higher. She gets more lateral there, which is better for her gait. She's good there. She's good there. And then there, and then her head goes down. She gets more on her forehand, and then she starts going a little bit trotty again. So that just helps us to know that the things I'm telling you are probably going to work pretty well. This time as you came around the turn, she wasn't as good, but your body position, I think she was pulling on you, and she got you kind of tilted forward, and then she got real trotty. So body position is going to help you a lot. And I think you were trying to can her here. Yeah. She's got the wrong lead there. I don't know if you know that, but she was on the right lead, not the left lead. But I know that was your first try. So sometimes the video looks different than it really is. So I don't know if, I know this is going towards home. I'm just not positive. It looks like it's going uphill, but you let me know if it's going uphill or downhill. But what happens is she gets you about here, she kind of drags you forward, and then when she drags you forward, the trotting gets worse because she's pulling you, which then makes you tilt forward, which then drives her more towards the trot. So I'm going to scan it back for a second just so you can see what I'm talking about. So she started picking up speed, but her head's way too low for us trying to get her to gait, and then she kind of pulls you, and then it just gets worse. So her speed here, that's good for her flat walk speed, but I do want to see her head higher than that. Let's see if you come across again, because I know you did a bunch of these. So that's a good speed. There she's picking up a little bit more speed, but let me turn the sound off. What I would like to see is you sitting back more, so your upper body back more, being right on your seat pockets. Think of leaning back a little bit. I'll send you the video on body position. And then I want to see her head higher though. I would like to see the top of her head about here. And instead of having your hands down, I would like to see your hands about here, okay, about waist level, because her head's going to be higher and you want to follow that bit straight line to your elbow. Right now, it's kind of broken right here. You'll see a broken line instead of it should be coming just from your elbow to her mouth. So I want you to raise those hands up, raise her head up. And we just got to keep a consistent speed, because some of the time she starts out pretty good and then she's just increasing speed, which it might be for home. So there, her head's way too low. Now it's okay if she's keeping that speed and you're riding out on the trail, but if you're going to increase speed, you're trying to get it so her head's a little bit higher than that, so she doesn't start to get trotty if she does pick up more speed. So this right now will be, no, you slowed down. So it sped up and then it slowed down. So I'm looking for a speed that would be more towards your running walk. Let's see if you come across again. So their ears are flopping, and she's got the gait and she's keeping it well. She's just doing her flat walk. This is more speed towards your running walk, but again, sit back, don't lean forward, and bring her head higher. So this is a better head position there, but as you're picking up more speed and going more towards a running walk, look at where the red line is here. That's where I would like her head.